We're in the dark. We're creating a memory here at Holy Family. This reminds me of Timbuktu, a place of grass huts where there is no electricity. Tell me if you've heard this story before. One day, the king of Timbuktu decided that one day, since his son was going to be king one day, that he would create various thrones for his son, so that when his son became the king of Timbuktu, he could choose from these various thrones which one he would like. So far, so good? So the king of Timbuktu invited all of the craftspeople of the village to come together and to discuss building the next throne for his son. One craftsman built a beautiful, beautiful throne out of ivory. It was gorgeous. Another craftsman created the most beautiful throne with all the most precious gems of Timbuktu, sapphires, rubies, emeralds. Imagine that. One craftsman even created a gold throne for the king's son. They created these thrones. They put them into one of the grass huts for safekeeping. And unfortunately, one night, sometime later, lightning struck that hut. That grass hut was struck by lightning, and it destroyed all three thrones. And the moral of this story is, those who live in grass houses should not stow thrones.
Okay, Mother. Stow thrones.
Those who live in glass houses should not stow thrones. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, today we celebrate the solemnity of Christ, the King of the universe. And isn't it true that sometimes we're tempted to hide Christ like those thrones in the grass hut, right? Sometimes we go to work, we're in very social situations, and we really don't want to talk about our religion. Remember how divisive things like religion and politics can be? We just don't mention those things in polite conversation, right? Well, today is a day for us as a church to proclaim Christ the King. Christ the King of the universe, who ideally is also Christ the King of our hearts and of our lives. Christ the King of the universe. In today's first reading, Daniel tells us that he had a vision one night. In the middle of the darkness, he had a vision of the Messiah coming on the clouds and receiving from God power and glory and kingship and dominion, that the Messiah would reign. And that's what we hear in today's responsorial psalm. Lord, you reign forever. In today's second reading from the letter to the book of Revelation, we hear how it is that Jesus is the ruler of the rulers of the world, the King of kings and the Lord of lords. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. But is Jesus the Lord of your life? Do we all know what is happening in England? England has a king. His name is Charles. Question: how much power does Charles have as king? He's just a figurehead. Follow me? The person with power, or the people with power, it's the prime minister and the parliament in England. And so what we have in England is the situation of a king who really has no power. Is that how it is with Jesus in your life? Is Jesus simply a figurehead? Or does Jesus really have power in your life? I like the good news that's contained in today's gospel. Because if we had light here at Holy Family, we'd see the beautiful decoration by our environment committee, and we would notice that there are 2 crowns in front of the altar. Can you see them in the darkness? One is a gold crown, which represents Jesus as King of the universe. And what's the second crown in front of the altar? A crown of thorns. In today's gospel, Jesus is standing in front of Pontius Pilate, and Pilate has a question for him, because the people have said he calls himself the King of the Jews. And so Pilate asks him, is it true, Jesus, that you are the King of the Jews? Caesar did not name you king. Are you a king? Do we all know why they crucified Jesus? What letters are up at the top of the crucifix? I-N-R-I. What does that I-N-R-I mean? INRI. I-N-R-I. It stands for, in Latin, there is no J. The J is an I, so the I stands for Jesus of Nazareth, King of the Jews. They mocked him as King of the Jews. He suffered and he died. He wasn't just made a king glorious from day one. He passed through suffering, which is good news for any of us who suffer or have seen our loved ones suffer in this world. That the crosses that we bear in this life lead to the crown. The thorns that we experience in this life, the thorns lead to the throne. The gall that we taste in this life leads to glory. Sisters and brothers, the suffering that we endure, like Jesus, leads to greater glory. In the meantime, as we celebrate the solemnity of Christ, the King of the universe, in the dark, let's remember how it is that we are called to be a light and to allow Christ's light to shine through us so that others can see that he truly is King, not just of the universe, but also of our lives.